So should I start it off then?
Go ahead, man. Do your thing.
Okay. Y'all know what we say, YouTube. What's going on? It's your boy Booda, back in the building for another POWERCREEP podcast. And I'm joined by my co-hosts. We got Tweacz.
What's up, fellas?
We got the Crypt Man.
What it do?
And Demos, the Demented Panda, will be joining us. He is on his way home from work, so he's going to slide in real quick as soon as he can. Hopefully like 10-15 minutes. He gave us his ETA. But today, love is in the air, gentlemen and ladies who are in the chat. We can see Iron Meredy or Samus or Mega Meredy brought a whole bunch of love with this update and a whole lot of power. I think Tweacz will attest and get to explaining that later on. What have you guys been doing? Have you been exploring the update much? And give me your day. What did it look like?
Crypty, go ahead, man.
I honestly haven't been playing a ton. Like, I logged in, I ran through my energy and stuff like that. I didn't do any pulls. I've been pretty occupied with some other stuff we got going on.
Yeah, no worries.
But I did pop into Tweac's stream last night after maintenance because I happened to still be up doing stuff. And yeah, man, looks fun. So I can't wait to hear you guys talk a little bit more in depth about her, because I'm a free to play scrub now, so I gotta wait for the pros to tell me what characters are good.
You not playing the LC Crypt? What do you mean? I'm shocked.
I mean, I played like the same amount that I always have been playing lately, right? Like I keep up with stuff, I burn my energy, but I haven't had the time to be as in it as I used to be.
No, I know that was sarcasm, my friend.
I'm sure it was.
All right, Tweacz, you're gonna be carrying us in your Valentine's backpack this podcast. I'm sure you were prepared.
Yeah. Well, my day did start. I was streaming her after reset, after maintenance. Pulled her pretty quickly, thank goodness. I actually had some luck this time, and immediately got to building her. And since she's a shift, she already had pretty much every single skill in the game learned because my Meredy was pretty well fleshed out. So
that's the best. That's
Isn't it great?
The shift effect where it's like my character's full built already. it feels great. So nice.
It was so funny because I looked at the clock and it was like, maintenance happened, reset came at like 5 a.m. for my time, and then I was already like full blasting Pablo like 5:33.
Yeah, you had that video up early,
right? And it was just really funny because like I love that, right? Like, got the unit. Since I already married, fully fleshed out with all the skills. She was at 50 SC. All I had to do was put some awakens on her, jack her level up, finish her skill tree, and then she was like ready to go. So yeah, it was good. Really good effect for that. But for her specifically, I mean, I was having fun today, just messing around with her abilities. Of course, I did put out the video pretty early, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
And like I probably could have been maxed out a little better, but like it didn't really matter. It was just that was a lot of damage output.
Yeah,
and she has some really cool gimmicks that I was able to play around with and test out her skills. Brought her into PvE a bunch, brought her into PvP, and you know what? She's a great permanent unit. Like, unfortunately for a lot of people, most people just hate building like specific skill sets for battles, which she is. That's her entire gimmick, is building her for specific things. So she's not that like unit where you're just gonna like bring her into battle, maybe Pirate's Feast, and just use all three skills. Like, no, that's not. That's just not how she works. So, and we'll get into that. But
yeah, I was gonna say, and I think you can agree, obviously, because I'm not speaking from experience, but just on paper, she feels like she's meeting the expectation I know and I think others had. Of switching up the flow. Yeah, she brings entirely new game mechanics to Last Cloudia, and she's good.
And she's good at what she does. Yeah,
right.
She's not at all new player friendly, like at all. I would say.
Interesting.
This is not a starter unit.
No, because people are just starting the game. She's got weird gimmicks. people aren't going to understand them right away. And then as soon as you try to understand the whole Last Cloudia universe and how it works and all the mechanics, she's like totally different than anything we've had. So no, if people are going to like reroll or get her as your first unit, like please, please keep in mind this is a unit that is not like any other units.
This is an advanced permanent unit.
I mean, even though it's not necessarily advanced, it just takes a little bit of understanding as to how to make her work.
Yeah, advanced
or work well. Yeah, all right, fair.
Yeah. A little more, yeah. She does well in experienced hands and is probably going to be very confusing if this is your first character.
100%.
That you're loading in with.
100%. Yeah, I would. In my initial thought, earlier, I am still in this. Right? Yeah, sorry, my thing was tabbed down. My initial thought was like, she's a toy for endgame players, pretty much. She's not going to be your main hard carry that we reroll for. No way. But for specific content and for building her for specific things, yeah, absolutely, she can be done. She can be that for you. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and that art though, Michael Burnside says,
Dude,
absolutely.
She has some. I mean, she has some awesome art. Honestly, I love the little guy in the bottom left. Like, he gets like a little mad face and shit. It's funny.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I wanted her very bad. I wanted her very badly.
I saw your summons video. I did watch that.
I can't be mad.
Dude, you were so hyped for Crystal Gorm, dude.
I was so hyped for my.
I know you wanted him for a while.
Drip
and
King.
He is, and I think we fleshed him out pretty well in the past few months, and he's just been a fantastic unit to have on my account. I know on my account, but I'm sure yours as well will be awesome.
Yeah, I mean I'm gonna be bringing him in. Like he's gonna be my support I bring with me, just cause I'm a fan, and I am just excited to use him in Arena, bro.
Dude,
so excited.
You should be.
Yep.
Pretty awesome. All right. Would you like to jump into Meredy and explaining her kit a little bit?
I think so. I think that's
all right,
a good transition.
Let's explain what her gimmicks are about. So I just want to preface this, just like an overview of her like and what she's about. Essentially, what you're going to be doing is you're sacrificing the usage of some of her skills, as in S1, S2, S3. You're sacrificing these to make others stronger, pretty much. The more you sacrifice, the better those skill that's left will be. So, if you're this is the first unit we've had in a while where you can literally turn off one, two, or all of her skills, which I wouldn't suggest all, of course, but leaving one left out of all three makes that skill be actually super powerful. So you kind of like tailor her to the battles that she is going to be fighting in based on the enemy attributes. But out of the way, she is a permanent unit. Obviously, what we would say, I think you guys would all agree, for permanent units, free-to-play players should never pull for free-to-play for permanent units. They are added to the permanent gacha pool. They will be able to spook you on any banner that you're playing, pretty much. You do not need to use gems. And of course, if you're simping or if you're a big fan of her kit and all that kind of stuff, yes, go ahead if you want to spend some crystals. But as a permanent unit, no way. Absolutely not. And I do think that's unfortunately a big reason why there's not these banners that often is because of that exact mentality. Like a unit that's added to the permanent pool, we suggest, and many people in the community suggest, just don't pull. And they're not going to make that much money from that. So,
yep.
Sadly, I think that is a big.
Did you see my controversial post that I threw out into the Reddit space?
I looked at the title. I read the first few sentences. I was like, I should just not join this conversation. I saw
that and I was like,
I figured.
What dumbass scrub is posting this? And I opened it and I was like, huh, Booda gang. Interesting. Fascinating. I can't wait to see where this goes.
Yeah.
I have not been back to look at the comments. I will not be participating in that.
Yeah, surprise. People don't want free units, bro. It's a bad idea, I guess. But
I mean, starts a conversation.
Starts a conversation. I was just tossing it. I was thinking about it. I was playing another game, in which case they have a very, very good free character system, and I was like, how could that transfer to LC? And I was like, well, we get 3 permanent units a year. No one summons for them anyway. That'd be pretty dope. But again, I got a lot of lashbacks, so people don't want it.
Yeah.
I expected it, though.
Happens.
I can't say that the feedback was unexpected. That's why I was extremely sarcastic in the entire post as a, defensive wall. But,
Yeah. The only one that I did see that was kind of interesting is that the one of the comments was like something like they used to be free units technically because they could be grinded or like found through summons.
yeah, I didn't know that.
Way back, and that was actually kind of a good point. Like we used to have permanent units be free, kind of.
And then
Based,
what?
I think
Did
it was
they
like the
have a
friend
reason?
gacha. You could maybe get one, and you could when you got to 30 souls, you could actually summon them to your account.
The reason they removed that is so that they could give us like an adequate soul grind on
Yeah.
units, right? That was their excuse. They were like, okay, well, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like, you don't get free units if we make souls freely available, which really doesn't even make sense because right now we can only grind souls for units we already have. So it's not like we could, do something weird. But I mean, they also got rid of like unit stories. We haven't had one of those in over a year now and stuff like that. So I mean, it's just clear that they
Give and
pivoted kind of the direction that they were going with that. And I mean, I would rather be able to, like, it's a fair trade-off. I would rather be able to grind up a unit and build them in like a week, 2 weeks, rather than like, guys, it used to take like months. It used to take literally months to build a single
unit.
Yeah.
Dude.
So I'm pretty happy with that trade. I always was. But yeah, that's definitely a mechanic that they phased out in favor of something that they thought was like
a little bit more quality of life. Yeah, I think it was an okay substitution because being able to grind, and not even all those units were able to be grind. If you had to wait for like friend gacha to get single unit souls forever, like dear God.
Yeah, there were a couple units like you could get if you had certain units.
Yeah,
you could do their unit story and unlock other units through those, which that's actually kind of cool. Like that would actually be a really cool mechanic if like you start out with one unit story and you play through that and you grind it out or whatever, and you get the next unit, and then their unit story has a further unit that you unlock by grinding their story. I think that would be cool. But clearly not the direction that they chose to take with this.
not on the docket.
No, not even a little bit.
So,
But
either way,
yeah,
it's not ever going to happen. I just figured I'd see what kind of conversation it stirred, and here we are. So, fun little topic, but
all right.
we should get
Shall
back.
we get back to literally
To the
Inventive
actual
Queen
game.
Meredy?
Yes,
Yeah,
well, let's
fair
get
enough.
back to
This man's out here
reality.
engagement farming on
All right.
fucking Reddit.
Listen, you got to stir up controversy, Crypt.
No, I appreciate it. I do.
I mean,
I get it.
all I have to do is walk into a comment section. That's all that happens.
Well, you are a special person in the community.
yeah, it's very
Tweacz.
special.
Yes.
They love me over there. It's great. It's a great time. But yeah, let's explain her gimmicks. Gimmicks, mechanics, whatever you want to call it. She just has a certain way how she needs to be built, pretty much. And I think I want to talk about her passives first. So let's talk about these 3 passives. It being, let's do it from top down because it makes the most sense. These 3 passives right here, Radiator, Missile Pod, and Laser Arm. These are going to be your activations of each of the skill, right? So if you have this activated and set, so this considers set, just like we had with like Aldanian and stuff, having them set means that the skill 1 will be able to be used in battle. Having this set, we'll be able to use skill 2 for Radiator, and skill 3 Missile Pod, it'll be able to be used if you have this set. But it has bonuses and disadvantages to setting them. If you set this one, you get the skill damage cap plus 10,000 and an SET recovery speed plus 100% for that skill. Great. Unfortunately, it takes off 5,000 cap and 50% SET recovery from the other 2 skills. And these all do the same for each one. So if you have all 3 of them on, it's pretty much a wash. None of them get any cap, and none of them get any bonus SET speed. So to enable that, you would take 1 or 2 of them off and force your unit to only use 1 skill. Now, this is kind of important because her kit, and we'll get into that, her kit is specific to getting hugely boosted damage against weak attributes. So you're most likely going to be picking one of her skills to use that is going to be a super effective or weak attribute against that enemy. So if you can make them weak, that's even better. If they're a little bit neutral, or if they even have a little bit higher than 0, you can drop them all the way down to weak territory and hit some damage. So the most effective way to have her built is playing around and not having all 3 of these set up. Because if you have all 3 of these set up, you pretty much get, and none of them are weak, you pretty much only have a total of 2,000 damage cap boost if you're not fighting bosses. So you're going to want to mess around and take most of these off. Now in my showcase, or my battle with Pablo earlier, and even like things like places like Arena, I've only been using skill 1. I take these both off just so it gets 100% SCT speed bonus as well as 10,000 cap, because I think that's one of the more effective ways of using her. And of course, if you're deciding to use one of the other skills, you'd be like, oh, I'm going to take this off. I'm going to use Radiator. All right, cool. Turn it on. Leave the other 2 off. Or I'm going to use Missile Pod. Leave the other 2 off. That's kind of like how you should be really building her. And that's why we say she's not really new player friendly, because without that, and you just leave them all 3 on, she's kind of like a run-of-the-mill, pretty basic DPS with almost no cap raises, to be honest. So if you want to flesh her out and make her a very high damage potential unit, you'd have to be picking which skill you want to use. But why don't we jump in and look at her abilities first? So each one of these, the ring laser is going to be her laser arm. These are, I think this is what whatever they're called in the kit. They activate your S1, S2, or S3. But her S1's pretty cool. It's 7 hits single wield, 14 hits dual wield. It is a line of sight laser beam that pierces the entire map. And this is my favorite of all the skills for sure, because it bursts the entire length of the map. And of course, it's line of sight, so it's going to be level with your unit. It's similar to Arden's S2, but it's an S1. It has I think it's 13 SCT. And if you're only using that, you get 100% SCT speed. It comes back super quick, like 5-6 seconds if you have an auto haste in her paid. It's a lot of damage that you can spam, especially if you use skill stocks. And I think we'll get into that. Skill stocks are a way to even more amplify that damage that she has available. Her S2, though, I've become to like this a little more than I had originally. It's a pretty quick skill. 9 hits, single wield, and 18 dual wield. It is an ice attack. This frontal medium range ice attack means she needs to be... Frontal generally implies line of sight. Medium range means she just has to be in a general vicinity of the enemy in order to activate it. She needs to be 3 or 4 body lengths away. In which case it'll do an attack. It's pretty instant. And then for the latter half of the attack, she'll dive in and zoom right behind the enemy. And we'll see how it works, but if you're trying to main this attack, this skill, it's actually not bad at all if the enemy is ice weak. Okay. Then we're looking at the S3 full attack mode. This is the big hitter. It's pretty elongated skill. It's at least 2 seconds to finish, but it's 18 hits single wield, 36 dual wield, and it is a sort of lunge, right? She needs to be within a certain vicinity, which is a little further away than her S2, but she might need to run a little bit to jump at the enemy. And we'll see how that works in game, but it's not a warp or a gap closer like we've been used to with a lot of other units.
It reminded me of Lance Vale's S3.
Yes.
Okay.
A little bit further than that, but yes, it's similar to that kind of mechanic where he has to run a little bit to get into a vicinity range.
And then he jumps.
And then she can lunge in.
Okay.
Yeah. Special wise, it's nothing really to write home about. I think the art in it and the animation is kind of cool. Dropping literally a meteor on people's heads. It is AoE, and of course I don't have it 5th enhance or 4th awaken yet, so my damage cap is only 4,000, but it does go plus 5,000. And it's light, so it doesn't really synergize. She doesn't really have any synergistic things in her kit that boost light damage at all, so it's not that great of a special. Which is kind of expected from a permanent unit, to be honest. I wish she had a better one, but what are you going to do? And this is where we start getting interesting. This is where we start having skill things that are, scrollable because they're so long. Her trait 1, Powered Gear, when hitting an attribute weakness damage, damage plus 50%, and damage cap plus 5,000. This is when we're talking about like she needs to be geared towards certain battles, because if you have the enemy one of a fire weakness, an ice weakness, or a thunder weakness, she's going to be built for one of the S1, S2, or S3 to get extra damage and extra cap. Just having that being a weak damage is going to give her a lot of extra power. It also does, when attacking with skills, cut enemy attribute resistance and then deal damage. What this does is it is a minor hit to the enemy's weakness. So it does. I don't believe it stacks with weak. I think it's the same icon, but this will start showing up if you hit with a skill. It'll cut all the attribute resistances up to max minus 15. So a simple weak will make this not really effective at all. But if you don't have a unit with weak and you're just running her solo, she can use this to cut resistance by 15. And that in itself, just by using skills cutting resistance, synergizes well with the first part. If they're even close to neutral values on any of those three elements or attributes, she can get it negative into weak territory, which she'll do extra damage at cap. I think that's kind of cool. The built-in Golem Core, her trait 2, this is where we're talking about putting on one of those three skills, because it is allowing you to decide, first of all, what magic you want to take, want to not flinch from, as well as not take as much damage from. Sure, but I think the most important thing is this last part: boost skill damage based on number of unusable skills. So what this means is one skill 50%, two skills 200%. This means if you have two out of the three, the one skill means if you have 2 out of the 3 skill sets and activated in your passive menu, each of those skills will gain 50% damage. But if you only have 1 activated, which means 2 are off, that one skill is going to get 200% more damage. Which, if you're building for a specific scenario and a specific attribute weakness, and you have the ability to remove 2 of the 3 skills, she's going to be doing a hell of a lot more damage and way easier to cap, and hit extremely hard in places like PvE and PvP. So, yes, she has these gimmicks where you're not going to get any of this if you have all 3 equipped. With that said, one of the cool things about her kit is that you do have an option to equip a skill just to nullify the flinch resistance from those kinds of spells. Specifically, her skill 1, because it's fire, it is super effective against earth, usually. So that's her skill 1 equipped is going to let you not flinch from earth magic. Her skill 2, being ice, will let you not flinch from fire magic. Her skill 3, being thunder, will let you not flinch from ice magic, notably like blizzard, or skill 2, meteor rain, or skill 1, tornado storm. So it's kind of interesting. It's not really a way I would build her, and I think that's extremely niche to use. But if you felt like she's flinching from blizzard a lot in arena, you could just equip her skill 3, just to make sure that she'll never flinch from blizzard. But that's an option. I would definitely go for her powerhouse build rather, but to each their own. So why don't we talk about her passives? Skill cost. Fighting Spirit. She doesn't really have many of the, small things in her kit like crits, Proud Force, sustainable things. She's pretty much here for building for damage, building for skill recovery, and then capitalizing on weak damage. So we have Fighting Spirit 5, Resolve up 3. Of course, this is boosting her strength and HP, defense and mind. Sure, she's going to get great skills. Royal Armor is 50% reduced rate chance of critical hits, pretty much. Being Shield is nice to have, just when the enemy is any of these Brute Slayer, essentially, types, she gets minus 20%. Minus 20% damage, all damage from them. Auto Protection and Auto Regeneration are going to help her survivability quite a bit. Auto Haste. If you only have 1 skill equipped, you gain 100% SCT regen for that skill. But this also adds another additive 25%. So now we're at 125%.
That's a lot.
SCT regen speed. It's a lot. Basically, it turns your 13-second S1 into a 5.7-second S1, which is obviously very fast. And I love the fact that this is just, she gets this in her kit and it stacks. Pride 2, of course, this is plus 30% 30% strength at max HP, and if you're going to build her for sustain at all or in normal battles, you're going to try to keep her at max HP to keep that strength boost. Elemental Drive, this is just extremely nice to have. She has Fire, Ice, and Thunder innately in her skills, and then Earth is going to be her paid weapon, so it's not really fully applicable, and her special's Light, so this doesn't even affect that at all. It's just a nice thing to have for free. Weak Point Boost. And this is, again, synergizing with her trait 1. She gets a huge damage boost to weak points and attacking weak attributes. So definitely try to build her as such. You want to attack the weak attribute as much as you possibly can. Those Glory, nice to have. SET regen, and of course, her S1, my specific skill of choice, is 13 SCT. So when you get 5 SCT back for killing an enemy, that's a lot of stocks you're getting back very, very quickly. Shockwave, of course, 5% chance to basically break the enemy's guard on any physical attack hit. Just nice to have for free. And this is where we start getting in. So people were asking, I'll go over these first. Two-handed machine and armor mega boost. If you can see this, two-handed machine right here, armor mega boost. But she has dual wield. Why?
What the hell?
Yeah, what the heck? No, and here's the thing. What I think they're trying to do here is show that she is, she needs to be built for specific content. And she has the ability to get damage boost and to get damage mitigation whenever she wants. No matter what situation. You want to use her single wield, use a machine, use an armor? Sure, she gets boost for that. You want to use her dual wield and have more optimal physical DPS? Sure, she has that as well. Just because they have this in here doesn't mean you have to utilize them. Because obviously two-handed machine and dual wield do not stack with each other. That's a single wield passive, dual wield is a dual wield passive. So she can be built either way in specific scenarios, which is great. Like, it doesn't need to be confusing. If you want to build max DPS, dual wield. If you want to build her tanking and bruiser, or even just places where you're not going to be capping like PvP, single wield. It's not crazy. She gets machine boost, machine mega boost for free. Obviously, this is going to be cutting defense and adding physical damage, as well as adding a little cap. Indomitable Spears are really nice to have. When lethal damage is taken, 50% HP, and then get a 30% skill damage bonus. No shit. Sharp Eyes for free, 9 SC, 50% damage for 3% of your max MP. Awesome skill for free. Destroyer, 75% boost to your break damage. Cool. Giant Killing 2, another 20% skill and plus special damage to bosses with an extra 2,000 damage cap. Beautiful. She also gets Beast Alliance for free, which I would never spend at 11 SC for this, but it's for free. If you have other units in the party that have this on already for free, sure. If all 4 have it, you get 15% to all stats. Nice. Then extra weakness stack. This is what we've been seeing lately on units and what we've had on Shift a little bit. Rabala. Was Mikasa the one that had it? Mikasa has it, right?
She does.
And then now we have it on Shift Meredy. And this is basically an extra attack, pursuit attack on any a chance on any killer or slayer or attribute weakness attack for an extra pursuit. And I think it's 10% chance for 100% damage. So yeah, just extra damage on extra damage. Oma medic system. This is actually kind of sweet because I saw this happen in Arena quite a bit. When inflicted with a beta 6 status ailment, chance to recover HP 20% and heal the status ailment. This is a 45% chance of essentially nullifying the status ailment that gets afflicted. 45%.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah, for free. And she is very potent in Arena, so yes, this is going to be very, very nice to have on her for free. Auto D-Gravity Boots. This is kind of nutty, and we haven't got to the part where it even comes to nuttier, but this is chance to resist flinch from physical attacks. What this essentially is, she has a 87.5% chance of not flinching from a regular attack hit. Now, that's per hit. It's not per attack. So if a unit is attacking you with, 30 hits of a skill, you're probably still going to get flinched at some point during the skill. But maybe those first 4, 5, 6 hits she's going to not flinch from, and you'll be able to get a skill off in the meantime. So
she has 87.5% super armor. What the hell?
Yeah, well, it gets better. Wait for it. But yeah, so essentially she has mini super armor, which doesn't always work very well, but she might have the chance to get a skill off while in the middle of an attack, which I've seen happen many times already. Laser Arm, Radiator, and Missile Pod. These are the 3 passive that will allow you to use the skill 1, 2, and 3. Equip these, or don't equip these. I would suggest building for one of them, of course, but just be aware of that. That's what we're going to be doing gimmick-wise in her kit for sure. Dash Boost. This is a +2 movement speed if you're far enough away, and I think it's relative to if you're not in line of sight, or if you're not, if your skill needs to be, if you need to move to activate your skill. I think it's at that point you still get a movement speed to jump over, which again at base speed and with some speed in your kit, it's not going to make a huge difference. But if you don't have any in your kit already, it will. So just nice to have. I think this is the first time we've ever seen it. As to her kit though, suggesting the building, and I think my pre-release pad was actually pretty spot on again. You want to build her for speed, because almost all 3 of her kits, all 3 of her skills she needs to run at some certain point to get into line of sight or within the vicinity to be able to activate it. So speed is very important for her. And then skill stocks. You're going to be wanting skill stocks and building for one specific skill damage. So if you're building for S1, you'd build fire damage, fire and skill damage. If you're building for S2, you build for ice and skill damage. And if you're building for S3, you want thunder and skill damage. So whatever you want to put on her, make sure that it's multiplying her physical damage, physical and the attribute that you're working with. And of course, Slayers and Special Boost, great shout always. If you want to use a different type of weapon, use the weapon equips for sure. She only has machine axes and hammers innate. So if you want to use swords, if you want to use spears, bows, claws, you're going to have to equip that yourself. Nothing really crazy. Again, speed, physical damage. So we're looking at, things like speed, +4 for the first 40 seconds, +2 speed as a buff. Pride to stack with her max HP buffs. Flying Shadow, add her max HP, move faster. You can also make some higher sustain with Dusk and Fast Matisse if you take Sharp Eyes off. Sweet. Things like Thunder High Drive, Fire High Drive, Ice High Drive, and all those drives are going to work very, very well on her, depending on what skill you use. Pose of Honor, if you're going to use Sharp Eyes, sure. Pirate's Feast Goaded. Surprise Attack Backstab, I have absolutely used on her, just because if you main her S1 only, you have easily opportunity to situate your unit and do some crazy, crazy damage. Maglion, if you're using ranged, specifically your S1. Dash is great if you got it from the Trials of Mana collab or the SOM collab. 5 SC for +2 movement speed constantly. And then you're looking at boosting your other items or your other weapons if you have them equipped. Like I'm running swords. I have sword boost and sword high boost. And then you're looking at skill stocks, which I think is a more important thing. Because she's going to be using one skill, usually 1 or 2 skills, I think it's really, really important to max those skill stocks out for whatever you're using. Purple Orb decreases in, effectiveness here if you're only using 1 or 2 skills. So this isn't a mandatory thing by any means, but it will give you an extra stock if you have the room for SC. Skill charges for the 1 skills you're using, and then like any other damage boosters. And unfortunately, we're getting down here to Destroyer and Breaker. Her break is nowhere near OG Meredy break, unfortunately. Nowhere near. She has even less break than, let's say, a full break. I built her for full break earlier just to test her, right? She has less full break than like Mikasa, Levi, and Artie.
Wow.
So she's not going to be your nuker breaker as well as huge damage. So just keep that in mind. We're not going to test her break here. We don't need to. It's not anything crazy, which is sad because I was really hoping that we could get some amazing break.
That was part of
because
her
of
charm.
because of how good OG Meredy is at breaking. Yeah, she substituted her breaking for big PP damage, unfortunately.
That's true.
But yeah, nothing crazy down here. And of course, if anyone was here for it, the high speed chop key +3 movement speed for, that very beginning of battle when you haven't taken any damage yet. Very nice skill. Equipment wise, this is her pay. Let's go over her pays first, because her pays are actually pretty good. Specifically Machina Arm. I don't know why it's Earth. I don't really get that, but whatever. But skill damage +20%, SCT recovery speed plus another 10%. So now we're looking at 235% recovery speed. And then when hitting an elemental weakness, damage cap +2000, which you should be trying to do, right? Like, you should be building her for specifically attribute weak battles where you can, manipulate the enemy into having an attribute weak. So I think it synergizes very, very well with her kit, and I think it gives people because it lists this. I think it's encouraging people to look for attribute weaknesses because she's not just generally applicable to every battle. As to her paid though, let's do her suit. This is interesting, right? Like if we're looking at an armor that if you're want to use, sure, she gets 20 thunder res to stun, which is great, and then physical attack damage plus 10%. Sure, it boosts herself as well as damage taken minus 10%. I don't think in any scenario realistically that we're looking for damage cap, I don't think it's really going to matter here. So the first part of her trait for it, physical attack damage cap plus 3,500. I'm not going to be using this in PvE, like personally. If you're looking for big damage, it's going to be dual. So it gives you another option, sure, because you also have two-handed machine and this put together. If you're only using one weapon, but not ideal for powerhouse damage. She will be tanky though. There's no question about it. Having an extra 20 because this activates armor mega boost as well. Having an extra 20% defense, 10% physical damage cut buff, and then 10% overall damage cut from bosses. Yeah, this is gonna make her super tanky. So it's a very good paid. It's just not something that I'm gonna use outside of arena. Which, yeah, I'm gonna use it in arena for sure. But as to her other stuff, like I said before, if you want to equip things like swords, and I love Pure Blade Mouse, this is one of my favorite weapons in the game, you would need to do sword equip, because she can only do axes, hammers, and machines innately. And of course, as we're talking about it, if anyone's got the new Ark, that AER works perfectly on her, because she's going to want a machine. And I don't have it yet, but I will absolutely be using that.
I don't have it yet
Absolutely.
either.
I'm very excited to go get that AER and grind it out, because I don't have the Ethereum to do so. You gotta go grind it out manually this time.
My 140 Ethereum. I don't know how, but I will.
Pretty nuts. That's pretty ridiculous. But why don't we just go and try her out? How about that? And we can try out all three skills just to show you what they look like. But I don't think should we do all three skills first, and then I'll go pick my favorite of the three. Does that work for you, Booda?
That works for me.
Beautiful.
What are we doing?
Exactly. That's what I thought. Sus. Where is Tinkilly? Tinkilly, you can have on Gaze at the End, because that's just going to make it easy for our lives. So easy.
I'm actually doing the event right now. I have not touched it.
Oh, the event's great. We'll get into that too.
Okay.
And by great, I mean I like it, and people salt that I like it because I'm an native shill. So
It's like Dr. Stone, right? Where you collect a bunch of bits and pieces.
Yeah, and it's not that hard. It's very, 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 very easy to craft stuff. They literally tell you exactly what you need. It's great.
Also, people are going to hate it because they have to read.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Gaze at the End works. So no matter what damage I do or what skill I pick, he's going to be able to do hit weak damage. And we're not going to get the big PvP damage caps. They're not going to have big skill SCT to regen. I just want to show you how they work a little bit. We also did not talk about limited release, and I think we should do that after this battle.
Let's do it.
The limited release is actually fantastic. Her spell. So basically these are all weak to whatever, fire, ice, and thunder. So it's gonna be pretty crazy. Tinkilly has the Aloron, so I'm gonna go let her do that. So what we're gonna see here is, first off, I'm gonna tear an auto off. Okay, well, we're gonna do it anyways. They're basically attacking Tinkilly. I am out of range of her S1, so I do have to move up to go and attack them. This is going to be an S1. So, makes sense. So they're all attacking Tinkilly. Let's go use the S2. She has to run, gets in a medium range, and then has to use it. Now, we look at her S3. She's also going to have to do that. Get in range, and get in line of sight to go do that.
I like that she busts out her hammer.
Yeah, I actually find that a nice little touch from OG Meredy. I'm glad she didn't lose the hammer.
Mm-hmm. She's cool, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but her skills are pretty cool. And of course, we saw with all 3 skills, she needs to move fast. So if you're going to be doing anything, give her movement speed to make her more effective. Now, while we're here, and before we go and use the one skill that I think is her most powerful skill, let's talk about limited release, because this is her special and unique to her, a special skill that she can use for 40 MP. It is available once per wave, but what it does is some pretty nasty effects. It is a unique buff icon that gives her HP, Strength, Defense, Intelligence, and Mind all plus 30% for 20 seconds. Okay, it is a unique icon, which means it stacks with things like Brave, Matisse, Aura. Of course, you wouldn't be using Aura, but Fort. Like, it's a huge boost to her stats. Makes her super tanky, super offensive, as well as gives her an extra 30% HP. But what it also does is boosts the chance of auto gravity boots activating. Now, we're going to have to get Lake to confirm for this, but if it's already 87.5%, which is basically 7 out of 8 chance, I would assume this goes, if not 100%, pretty damn close to 100% for auto gravity boots activating, which means nuts. It's probably around 100, like, pure.
Jokes on you, it's a 2.5 increase to 90%. Does basically nothing.
Still, I mean, I still take that
instead of 8.75 out of 10.
If it was, sure, that's fair. But dude, any boost to that is going to be something substantial. So like, the stat boosts in itself are worth the 20 seconds, but the fact that it also gives a boost to that, I'm super excited about. It makes her very, very super dope for 20 seconds. Like, what I wish it did was, which would be actually hilarious, almost like G-Luke special, just give her like another 100% SCT regen speed for 20 seconds. Just why not?
And like plus 10 move speed.
Yeah. Doesn't quite do that, but it's pretty funny. And she becomes extremely, extremely tanky during this 20 seconds. So
we call this Mont Blanc mode.
Like, I was using her in Arena earlier, and I was having, a Shift Gorm's Defender buff on her, as well as using this whenever I got 40 MP. And she'd have like 23. I mean, with my build, she has like 23,000 HP and like 4,000 defense, and I'm just like, oh my god, oh my god. And then like just can't flinch pretty much. Kind of nasty. So this spell right here, super nice. I'm a big fan of it. But let's go in and throw just her S1 on, because I think this is my favorite skill of all of them. Because this one, the laser arm, right? Yep, laser arm. Stupid high damage. It's only 7 hits short, 14 dual wield. But what it does do is it allows you to be safe from everything, while whoever is getting attacked is getting attacked. Like, you don't need to be above people's faces. It's not melee. You can pierce the entire friggin' screen with it. So yeah, why don't we just go do that?
And S1s already are the fastest to charge, so why not
super
just
low
stack,
SCT?
How much SCT recharge?
13. It's like 12 or 13 SCT.
Yes, but I meant how much extra does Meredy get with all of her boosts?
With this build, I have 225% and then 10% on her paid. So like, her 13 SCT turns into like 5.5 seconds.
Yeah.
For every S1 to recharge. Which in, harder battles, generally you have 5.5 seconds. Hello? Okay, so we're just going to use this just for shits. But
only shits, not giggles.
No giggles.
Yeah.
No laughing, no fun laughing.
No giggling allowed.
So what's going to happen here? Is she going to run up? Sure.
That's cool. Oh, look, and you just
like, I don't have all the cap rate
out.
stuff on her, so like she could look a lot. She gets near 50k cap when you have everything on her. So that's pretty fun, in my opinion. And I don't have Slayers on right now. She's just nuking because they're weak damage. She gets a huge boost to weak damage. And like I said, like we said before, this is a toy for endgame players. Like, as a new player, she's not going to be very easily built or easily usable at all. This is more like when you get her and you've fleshed out your account a good bit, throwing some stuff on her to make her work extremely well. And in very specific battles, yeah, she's going to be great. A lot of fun. I think she's a great permanent unit. I'm glad they added her to the pool. She's like a lot of permanent units. You're like, oh, I don't want to get an off banner unit on this banner. And like, if she shows up, cool. Like it's not a bad pool.
Absolutely. It's the same kind of feeling I had when they released Shift Medine.
Mm-hmm. Shift Medine, Shift Goroth.
Oh yeah.
Not initially.
Not
but
initially.
Now, Shift Goroth now. People Shift Gorm, of course. Those units, even base Meredy, like you're not unhappy about getting those units.
Yep.
So, very cool unit. Definitely very gimmicky, but things you can do with her, and if anyone's seen the Pablo video I put up earlier,
bro,
it's pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do that now, but like, oh my god. Crazy.
Yeah, I just feel bad for Pablo at this point.
Pablo.
Poor Pablo. Just bullied.
I mean, if you guys want to see her I guess we haven't showed it out a little bit, but I can go through each of her skills. Let's just go through each of her skills on Fighting Theory real quick.
Okay, that works.
Be easy to do. Well, once your S3 go burst, we might as well do all three. This is gonna be your S2. S2.
I figured her S1 would be the most fun. I was thinking her S3 might be the second.
It's still pretty. It's dang, especially against flinchable enemies like these. Yeah, it's still very good.
Yeah. Did you even talk about? Because obviously, you can tell my attention has kind of been going in and out. Have you tested 2 elements, or do you think that's just too much?
Workable. It's just not as effective as if you can build for 1.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty dope.
S2 ain't bad at all.
Does she have a sword coming out of her arm?
I don't know, man. I can't really tell you.
I think she does. Like That's pretty sick.
She has some great animations.
Oh yeah! Shout out to Amber as well. She's she's probably bullied more world bosses in the last couple months than the entire community.
Probably.
Amber is a bully, can confirm.
Yeah, her whole channel is dedicated to her bullying.
All right, let's look at her S3.
This one I'm excited. This one I want to see.
Do we need limited release? No, we do not. So we're not going to use it. And of course, they are going to be weak because my Theo does do that. So.
Yeah. Yeah, the DPS isn't there, but
I mean, it's still pretty good considering.
For sure.
Oh yeah.
I like that she's so simple yet customizable. It's just it sounds good to me.
She is built at the heart of this game's like customization influence. Like right, like she is not only customizable in all of her skills, but in her actual kit.
And I think it's cool that like first we got Ardeen, who introduces this multi-elemental mechanic to a character in his own way, and then we have Meredy, who does it in just a completely different way, but does it in a fun way still. It's not like, oh, this looks like shit. It's dope.
Before we move into like the other stuff, can we use her in arena real quick? I'll do one battle.
Show the people. Just do it.
Well, we can do it. Basically, what we build her for, S1 damage. That's all we're looking for. Solano, you get the.
Oh, you're getting Solano.
I mean, I was just trying to go to the first spell runner I saw. So
dude, he's very competitive with you, bro.
I know. What are you gonna do?
Oh,
rip.
Tyria died. Oh, Ruto, he did the thing.
Just limited release, why not?
Oh yeah. So now you're just not flinching. Oh, Lilibet's dead.
All right. Hello, sir.
Oh, wait for Ruto to do his thing.
Yeah, it's fine. I still got 4 stock, bro.
Yeah, just chilling. Oh, Ruto's dead. Oh, Tyria died. Oh, Lilibet's dead. Oh.
It's like whack-a-mole.
Oh my god. She makes every defense look trivial, bro. I mean, maybe not. Maybe, what are some hard counters that you've experienced, if any?
Not many.
Sounds like he'll get back to you on that.
We're still looking.
So I wasted enough skill stocks on Ruto because he was just chilling there guarding.
You did.
It's fine. I was hoping he'd die, but what are you gonna do? I'll just go attack someone else. Oh, no, I can't. Rip.
Can't yet.
I hate how sometimes, because he actually didn't use his S2 off the rip.
Oh, now you can.
All right, we can do it.
Lance
It's fine. They're standing there.
Yeah, that's the thing. When Ruto locks, unless they're going after Meredy, she could just get in that line of sight real quick.
Yeah, everyone's jumping down against the. It's just her S1's very fun. And obviously, it's not the fastest battle, and you have to manual and get behind the enemies and all this kind of shit. But fun. Sorry to bullying you, Solano. You were literally the first team. I don't know what
he's very upset, bro. You may want to DM him privately and apologize.
It's fine. But yeah, S1 OP. I love that. That's my absolute favorite skill from that.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Special beam cannon, yeah, for sure. Or just iron. It's just Iron Meredy. That's who it is.
Mega Meredy, Iron Meredy,
yeah.
Little Samus action. Yeah, it's all of the above. She's very fun. Metroid.
She's very cool.
Arc time.
Let's talk about it.
Banner Arc time. Let's go Banner Arc first. And I don't have mine leveled up, so let's go to the gacha itself. Recommended? Durandal Reborn. Yeah, I'm not crazy in love with this, except for a couple things.
Yep.
I'm crazy in love with this, except for the parts of this that I'm crazy in love with.
Yes. Some parts of it are very, very useful, but not all of it, right? So, stat-wise, nothing crazy. Defensive and mind arc, sure. Not a lot of MP. So a good amount of HP, giving above 3,000. We're going to have to get info from lakes from each wave gradually cut damage taken. My X minus 25%. Not sure how long this takes to get there, but we will have to get that information. When affected by status ailment, nullify flinch from regular attacks. You can force this on yourself if you feel like it, like using the mistletoe from the Christmas event to silence yourself, or getting curse from the Emil Head arc, stuff like that. I guess you can't even use arc. Never mind, I lied. But if it only protects flinch from regular attacks, so it's not against skills, not against magic. Pretty niche, and I don't think that's very effective or worth building for. Continuous protection effect, sure. Minus 20% physical damage taken at any given time. It will not stack with things like auto protection because it is exactly that. It's a substitute for it. So nothing crazy on the passives. But what is interesting with the learnables is that all of these, sure, we get resolve up, illness resist. That's pretty cool. Whatever. Defense down, evasion. I don't know the chance on this yet. I assume it's probably like 25 to 50% chance. So sure, I guess it'll work, but I think it's very niche and very specific scenarios you use this in. It's nice to have another machine geyser for specifically. And these have been coming out a good bit recently. So nice to have another one. High protection as a spell, cool. But I think the most notable thing of the learnables is Autofort. We have not had Autofort before, only Shift Gorm has had it innately, but being teachable to other units in your party, dope. And I know specifically how much I use Automatisse for my healers and stuff, so yes, Autofort on a tank that doesn't have it, like Ruto, is going to be great. But the best thing of this, I think, is the Arcade Reward. This is essentially Mithril Relief for machines, right? So you get movement speed. When a machine is equipped, you get movement speed and skill damage plus 10%, which is the same as Mithril Relief with swords. And then you get an extra 66 strength and 66 intelligence. So extremely good offensive accessory for your units that are going to be using machines. And we do have many that use machines, specifically because Trishul is so prevalent in many new player accounts, for sure. This is just going to synergize really, really well with that. So, great AER. I think this is, one of the better offensive AERs, just because it just straight up does skill damage and movement speed. It's two of my favorite things in the game. Yeah. But, cool banner. Worth spending on? No, never. No free-to-play banner. Or no permanent banner should ever be spent on by free-to-play units, or free-to-play players at all. Should we get into the event stuff, Booda?
Let's talk about it.
It's exciting stuff, because there's actually some really, really good stuff in here.
I haven't looked.
I do think the first thing we should mention is this Valentine's challenge up in the upper left. This is where you're going to get the Valentine challenge, this arc. I think it's Valentine's Night or something like that. It's a free LR Ark. Once you finish the little nine square bingo box, you can get a free LR Ark. With that said, let's get into what the Ark is. LR, Valentine's Night. It's interesting, right? Like, I don't find this Ark very usable, but it has some interesting learnables that I do think are very good. HP 3400, good. I did jack its HP up by 2 extend, so it was at 86 normally. Being 104 MP, I think, is actually very good. Stat-wise, nothing to write home about, honestly. Most notably, though, the art. And we're going to look at, we have Shift Eliza, Deimos, I know he's here, he's loving this. Meredy, Theria. We got a little bit in stockings for some odd reason. Then we got, I think, is that Alice back there, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Alice and Lily.
The waitress.
And then we have over here, which most of the community has assumed is DeGrogue with her spear. And I think that's pretty much confirmed, considering like we've seen her art of her spear. So this we think is DeGrogue, which is kind of sick, seeing her in a shift form outside of her armor. Dope. Very cool. And hopefully we get her within the next year. Because many people will be happy for Nami Mommy not being in armor.
Joke's on you. The next character is actually that maid there with blue hair.
That's Alice.
That's Alice.
What?
Yep.
Is
That's
it?
Alice.
This guy over here.
That's Alice.
I've looked at this art all of like just now for the first time. So
Yeah, it's Alice. But then we got Lanceville serving drinks. I mean, it's very cool. Deimos has looked
well,
at.
I'm still for maid Alice being the next character.
I'm down, but I think we're all in for. Okay, all right. Arc trait though, nothing crazy, honestly. Sure, HP restore back active skill, HP recovery plus 30%. I don't see much use for this, other than especially not for an arc where you're trying to use something that modifies your damage or your tankiness. Heal is kind of an after effect, so increasing that isn't really that great. Of course, if you're male and mind defense and mind plus 10%, female strength and plus 10%, sure. I do think it's very interesting. This is the first time we've seen like almost like an Ale of special.
Yeah.
Ale of ultimate kind of. So if you do have an Ale skill equipped, which is Ale of glory, honor, victory, things that increase your HP, SCT, and MP at the end of the battle, sure, you'll get 5% special gauge. And I think this might be useful in very long battles or multi-wave battles, sure. But I think the most important thing, so of course this is 3 ales on it for whatever reason, obviously to synergize with the trait and get ales on units. But I think the coolest thing, these last 3 skills are actually pretty cool. Girls Party, I'm very excited for, because if you are male or other, which are generally tanks in this game, most of the tanks in this game are male, so more likely to be targeted by enemies. This is going to get at least a +1 of war stack at some point. I don't know if it's more than +1. I hope it's more than +1. But 1 allure stack there, and if they're female, then it's going to reject stack. So definitely useful. I really, really like this. Revenge Matisse. Chance to increase mind upon taking damage. I forget the chances of these revenge skills. Do you guys remember? Deimos, maybe you can look it up. But just activating Matisse after getting hit, I think is one of the more useful ones. Revenge Matisse and Revenge Fort, I think if we ever get that, will probably be more useful, because once you're getting hit, getting more damage reduction pretty much, or healing. And then this is the first time we've seen Sorcerer Geyser. So Sorcerer Geyser, again, this is essentially Slayer for your magic damage against sorcerers. Sick. And being on a free arc, these are great. These are great to have on a free arc. AER, Chocolate Bonbon, nothing crazy. 300 health, 59 strength, 23 mind. Give Brave and Vitality at the beginning of the first 40 seconds. And then Illness Resistance. Sure. Nothing crazy. I'll probably never use this, but nice to have for free.
5%. I don't know if it's per hit or per skill.
5%. I feel like it's
I'm
probably
assuming. I'm assuming per hit, but I don't know.
Yep. So could be pretty useful, honestly. And those things are usually 7 SC, so it makes sense. But yeah, that's the first thing of the event. Complete this Valentine challenge to go snag that arc. That's completely free. But you guys want to talk about the actual cute innovation event, the first the newest event that we've had. The other one's a rerun, so we'll talk about that after. But cute innovation. What do you got to do to complete this? Basically is, sure, tech for the future. This is the main skill line or the main storyline you go through. Sure, watch the videos or watch the cutscenes if you want to. But what you can do after that is basically you're hitting each of these maps for materials, and they state exactly what they have on them. So all three of these maps have a chance of dropping silicarcanium, but each of them have a specific metal or material that you're going to go after to craft things. This one, Mines of Gold, includes the anti-shock metal, which is the most dropped, hyper-durable metal in the Caverns of Writhing Shadows, and in the Caves of Magical Wonder, you're going after the magic conductors. So, why do you need these? Well, craft. Let's go to the craft workshop, because this is where you craft everything that you can for the event. You have the option of this top options right here are all made by using these three bottom options right here: rare alloy, matter transmitter, mana sensors. In order to make stuff up here, which I mean, it's nothing crazy. You literally go like this, a rare alloy. What does it need? What do I need more of? You craft and you click how many. It's fantastic. It shows you what you need. If you need rare alloys, you use anti-shock metals and hyperdurable metals. If you need magic transmitters, you do hyperdurable metals and magic conductors. If you need mana sensors, you do those anti-shock metal, magic conductor, and silicarcanium. So it's very nice. The silicarcanium, of course, can be found in any of the three maps. But if you need the anti-shock, the hyperdurable, or the magic conductors, you farm one of these specific stages. And they literally tell you, craft 3 of these to make one. You only have to craft each of these one time. But if you want to clear out the trading shop, this is where you're going to have to farm a little bit more to get a bunch of the rare alloys, magic transmitters, and mana sensors. Which is kind of nice. The second part of this, which I would suggest for you to do, is keep track of your materials held. Like, this is where you see, oh, I have a bunch of these already. Maybe I shouldn't be farming them. Maybe I should go farm a different one, like hyperdurable metals or magic conductors. And then you go to the trading space. What's in here? There's some good stuff in here. I cleared it out already for the stuff that I wanted. So you'd be using the rare alloys, mana sensors, and magic transmitters to clear it out. You have a prism. So we're going to scroll down. Meredy prisms, 6 of each. Cool. It's gonna cost you something. You have 3 premium gacha tickets, an LR Stardust, 50 Mother Souls, and then we're looking at 1 Rainbow Cluster. We're looking at our Rainbow Mega Cluster, 2 each of the other colored Mega Clusters. Some pretty good value stuff in here, honestly, if we're doing a little bit of farming for the event. You're going to need to farm event points anyways, so you might as well try to farm some stuff. Now let's get into what the most effective way to farm these are. If anyone's actually read the notice, you use specific units to get bonus drops in stages. Those being, and before we get there, farm the hard stages. The hard stages have a better drop per orb ratio, so absolutely farm the hard stages. But the units that give you extra drops, okay, are going to be the Inventive Meredy gives 100%, and then you're looking at Meredy, Tinkili, both Tinkili versions, and Claire all give you an extra 50% EVP, but also give you small drops. So Inventive Meredy gives you a large drop rate, I believe they call it, and then each of these secondary units give a small drop rate. You can run Stealers here, but I feel like the best way of running this event, because each of these battles are only 2 waves, Mines of Gold, Caverns, and Caves, these hard waves are only 2 waves, or these hard stages are only 2 waves. Bring a Beast Hunter 10 of your own if you have it, and if you have a friend Beast Hunter 10, bring that. Now, what we're going to see here is, and I'm going to run a map first, you're going to see Beast Hunter proc, which I didn't bring the correct one. I was supposed to bring a Beast Hunter yet, but regardless, you're going to see Beast Hunter proc, and you might see, it might say miss. If you have Beast Hunter 10, just know that this is not necessarily miss, it just means that they can't be stolen from at all. So, you're not missing with Beast Hunter 10. They literally just don't have an item to drop. So we're gonna do that in the final wave. So I'm going to activate Beast Hunter here. Sure. We'll let it play out just so I can see the misses. So 2 of them missed on it. If anyone caught that, these top 2 did miss. The bottom one dropped an item. So you still want to be stealing, but not all of the enemies will be giving items. And of course, it's not that that's not the most effective. If you don't want to be stealing at all, fine. but at least bring some of the permanent units that if you have them to get those extra drops. I love her S1's animation, by the way.
It's very cool.
Big fan. It's literally the laser beams.
It's the best laser.
And who said it was? What's that Piccolo?
Special beam cannon.
Special beam cannon.
Yes.
That's some good reminiscence right there.
Mm-hmm.
So event points, even with max event points, is only 1215 per at plus 200%. Isn't great. But we'll look at the clear rewards. So the clear rewards here, 10, 10, and 4 for the anti-shock and hyper durable. What we're looking for, really, these bonuses are the ones from the other units I'm using, right? So we get bonuses for, like, look, we only have 24 total medals, but if you use a bunch of the other ones, we get a ton more. Ton more. Crazy. So definitely use whoever you have in your arsenal. If you don't have any, that's unfortunate, but it'll take a little bit more longer to grind. That's all.
Yeah, it's dope. It's not hard.
It tells you what to farm. Like, it's not bad. It'll just take a while. That's all. And we have 18 days or so to do so. Like, it's crazy. I will say, of note, this bonus challenge here, stupid value. Make sure you're doing this every day, because the actual item drops, material drops, are huge. Do this for sure. That's all I have to say about it. I've done it 6 times already, and I've gotten a ton of drops, so I'll be continuing to do that. Not only that, we hold on. We had mission rewards. Mission rewards go up to 61k right now, being Mother Souls. We also get, during that time, we get, orb recovers, we get gacha tickets, we get souls, more orb recovers, gacha ticket, we get a radiance at, this is the light, but there's a radiance. Mother Souls, Mega Clusters, Ethereon, it's the radiance 55,000, so definitely make sure you're grinding this out. Assumedly, next week when they add a bunch of stuff, there'll be a part 2 with mission rewards and all that kind of stuff. Not only that, we will be able to craft the gain suit, and this is the one thing we can't do yet until next week, is craft this golem core, and then we can make the actual final armor that we need coming from the event. But yeah, I think it's a cool event. I think it's a little bit of a mini Dr. Stone event that we had, and with the quality of life of telling us where things are and crafting it in the same menu that we found them in is very good. Please keep doing this. This is not that complicated, and I'm glad the way it shifted, because you weren't here, Booda, during the first Dr. Stone event.
Wasn't.
That was a goddamn nightmare.
I heard.
It
Nightmare.
was one of the worst experiences as far as crafting in any game that I have ever played.
That's great.
Yeah, the setup was interesting.
Wow. Well,
It was literally like, if you wanted to know what you had
You had
to go and craft something, you could either go look in your inventory, which is like backing out of 4 screens, or you could actually go to the stage that drops it and then hit the magnifying glass and then click it there, which shows how many you have.
Goodness gracious.
Bro, it was literally like you had to do a calculus to figure out what the fuck you wanted.
Yeah. We had, thankfully, somebody put together a spreadsheet that told you, you just went to your inventory one time, put in the numbers that you had, and it went and told you exactly how many more you needed of each thing and which stages you need to grind to get them, because that wasn't very obvious from the beginning.
Yeah, that was that loser Kirito, I'm pretty sure.
It was so bad. That Kirito guy.
Yeah. Toxic.
That's great.
Oh, man.
But yeah, the event's good. I like it. I like it. But then we have the second event, which we had last year. This is a rerun of the Prologue to the Future. And now, if you guys want to be grinding this, sure, go ahead. I don't believe any of the stages give gem rewards, so I probably won't be touching this unless I have just extra orbs lying around, which I will. But I'm not going to be rushing this. But what you guys need to know, which I think, Booda, you've talked about before in your other videos, the trading space for this event. Big time. Go pick up this Maiden's Lovely Banquet.
Oh, yeah.
Please. Pretty please. 500
Do
event medals.
not miss that. If you are watching this,
Do not
you
miss
get that arc.
I'm telling you.
Go get it. Why? Why though? Let's go talk about what's on the arc, because Obviously, it won't let me click it for some whatever reason. But Maiden's Lovely Banquet Ark. This is probably the best healing arc in the entire game. Just straight up giving plus 30% healing magic casting speed, as well as giving you your unit 25% defense buff if you get any magic on you. Like, I mean, like a charisma. Like, you're by another female unit, you will get plus 25% defense. Not only that, it's free MP regen, and then plus 10% healing magic power for each of the female units. This is easily the best healing arc in the game. Not only that, the passives are great. Mimicry Sorcerer is needed for a bunch of not only damage applications for units like Rabala, but it enables arcs like the Aldanian Institute of Magic to get better magic damage for one unit. It gives Fast Fort, which is great value. Sorcerer Shield, Fort Phaser, Vitality Phaser is great. MP up 4 specifically, you can't find this. You can only find this on 2 limited arcs. This being one of them. So definitely go pick that up. Please go pick that up. The AR is nothing crazy. I've used it before, but whatever. The stats on it, fantastic. I have this maxed out right. 107 MP at max, 64 or 340 mind at max, 338 defense at max. Like, it is a very good arc. I use it all the time for healers, and we are getting a lot of healers now who have a lot of cast speed. But 30%, this is nothing to shake your head at. Like, free MP regen, I'm sorry, that's fantastic. As long as you have another female unit in the party alive, very nice. Do not skip that.
Please.
Along with the trading space, LR Dust. Then it has like a lot of, things that we had in the past that were relevant. Clusters, crystals, crystallites, fragments, all the general stuff. We also have a music sheet here. I don't think this is, necessary for the Game Master event, but I think it might count for an extra one. Not sure.
Unrequired does work.
Unrequired does work. So it's just like a little bit. If you missed one, or you can't find one, this is a little bit of boost. So definitely go pick that up. Of course, if you have it's 100 medals, dude. Just go pick the stuff up. Like, it's not that hard to grind out. But as to the other stuff in the event, so we have. Why don't we talk about the banner stuff first? How about, since Booda, you're a big proprietor, or a little spender today about the other banner. Why don't we talk about this banner first? Valentine's Gachas.
Yes. It's pretty good.
Yeah. What this is, and I'm going to pull this up just so I don't get things wrong. But what it is, it's a step-up gacha with only female units in the game.
I'd be willing to bet it's Panda's favorite banner.
Beyond that, like what he's going to get into in a minute, it is amazing.
It is. No, fact, like, actually, objectively, for sure.
Yeah, objectively.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's funny, though. All of the waifus in the game are in this, except for anyone past Shift Eliza. So anyone Shift Eliza and before are all in this. That leaves us with the units for the 3% units, about, 29 units, I think it is? 28 units total. Them all being on a 0.1%. Which normally it's like, 0.07, 6, something ridiculous, some terrible percentage. But they're all 0.1%. And not only that, if you go through this at step 5, and if you want female units at step 5, you get a guaranteed female unit in the last spot, guaranteed. On the 5th step of the lap 2, you get a guaranteed exchange ticket for a unit in the banner. What does that mean for you? Well, there are some incredibly good units in this banner. Specifically being, sure, the 3 shown here. G-Lucio, which she's permanent, so I probably wouldn't suggest using a ticket for. Shift Eliza, fantastic unit. Shift Alice, amazing unit. We have people like SM Theria for free crystals, guaranteed 30k. That's crazy value as a unit. As along the way, you also get, for that 30k, 10 multis, another female guaranteed, and you know what? Maybe you get her along the way. She's at a 0.107%.
Yeah.
So, it's, if you want waifus, if you want some of the best units in the game, and you can guarantee them, this 30k is not poorly spent.
30k pity on any top tier unit is not a bad return at all.
No.
So if you're starting now, it's great to roll your start banner until you get a real strong unit, like, I don't know, Loug or something like that, and then just come and pity us in Theria, and then congratulations, you just
You beat the game.
Pretty much.
Honestly,
You have
yes.
one.
If you're
that's-
starting today,
This one right here.
you do tutorial, you get Sandworm, then you get Loug Zeus off the start dash Gacha, then you grind out 30k, go in Pity, Spirit Maiden Theria, and then you get the free Ark that we just talked about, which is her best in slot, and you literally auto battle the rest of the game.
Yep.
You win.
And
That's
that's not counting any of the things that you will get incidentally along the way.
exactly.
Of which you will get many things.
Right.
Including potentially one of the best mages in the game.
Right. Spirit Maiden Theria. I mean, the ones of note that if people don't have, the best units in this banner, for sure. Spirit Maiden Theria, 10 out of 10 on the tier list. Even still, being a year from being released. Sword of Imagineer is okay. I probably wouldn't pity her, but Shift Eliza, fantastic unit. Amazing mage. Adapted God Lily, okay. DeGrove's pretty good, okay. Rebel is okay. Alice is okay. Alice Type S. One of the highest priorities in this banner.
Very okay.
Shift Eliza, Alice Type S, shut up. Alice Type S, and SM Theria. The three best units in this banner, by far. Leona, if you felt like it,
No.
she's also due age, good. Again, I wouldn't suggest it, but
Do not get Leona.
Stinky, sure. If you listen, if you are already like 27k in, and you get the unit that you wanted, and you just have to then spend 3k more to get a absolute guaranteed free unit, like there's some great options in here.
Yeah.
And hopefully you
That's no
do.
question.
Hopefully you get some really good options while you're pulling. But
So, real quick, while we're on that topic,
yeah,
priorities. Let's say you have none or one or two of those units. What are the priorities? Like the order that you would go. Let's say you happen to get, Spirit Maiden Tyria on the guaranteed unit,
Alice Type S.
or for whatever. Who do you pick next?
I pick Alice Type S
Every time?
every time. I think her kit is just super stupid.
Same.
I agree. I mean,
And then it goes Eliza. If I get both of those, like it's not. If I was pulling this banner and one of those pull up in the full female unit guaranteed, and the other one like popped up into like, let's say any of these pulls, and I had like 9k left to get Shift Eliza, I'd do it, 100%. Yeah.
what's interesting is those are the three prisms that I got with my things.
Yeah, fair enough.
In that order too. Like my Alice Type S was already plus 16. I don't care. She's plus
get
16
it.
now.
She deserves it. So what we're talking about right here. All right, so that's the moving on to the next part, because I think one of the coolest things about this event is that there's Pockle chocolates, and Pockle chocolates
They're so
can be
good.
obtained from any. You get two. You can pretty much get 5 per event quest, sure, but 2 for every single auto run story quest that you can possibly do. So for anyone auto running out there, you get 2 per quest.
To put that in
This-
perspective,
Yeah.
I started auto running before I went to work.
Mhm.
So it was like right after I woke up. I woke up at around 6, and I stopped auto running right before I got on. So about 12 hours. I had 3k
Mm-hmm.
from just auto running, finding Theria.
Finding there, and at the start you do get a bunch of 100 Pockle chocolate gifts from like a bunch of the event stuff. So like you're gonna have a lot to start out. Not only do we get, you can get gotcha tickets, sure, great, but you can get these Prism Exchange tickets, and this is what's the most important thing. Prism Exchange tickets, you can get 3 of them for a total 2,500 Pockle chocolates. As you can tell, I got them. I've already finished those out in one day. But what you use this for is getting in the Prism trading space. Now, you can get a free +2 dupe Prism for any of the female units in the game, pretty much. Non-collab, right? So, units like, I don't know, these 3, the ones that I picked.
Hey, me and Tweacz.
Spirit Maiden Theria, these are the ones I picked, XBet, and Sarah. Just give me 2 FC for each of those, for free,
Yep.
for literally doing nothing. You're auto-running anyways for grinding materials. Like, you just go get some prisms. And of course, you can pick whichever ones you want, right? Like, I can't pick any more, but you can pick, like, any of the female units in the game. Chilukil. And again, I wouldn't suggest getting any permanent unit prisms because you'll probably get those eventually. But for the limited ones, like I picked these ones, of course, Panda picked Shift Eliza and Type S Alice. Yes, absolutely good options. Dr. Tenkili. Usually for these, go for a limited option because those don't come around too often. But yeah.
Beyond that, I would personally suggest going for time, like seasonal limited units. So the Christmas units, the swimsuit units, because you get those maybe once a year. Maybe if they're you're feeling really generous, you get them twice per year.
Yeah.
And one of those times is Valentine's.
The Descendant Heroes units, I mean, they are limited, but they are extremely less limited than the seasonal ones.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. And I didn't do that because I'm a sucker for sports, but what are you gonna do? These are the homies for me. And of course, we've talked about the other best units, Alice Type S and Regnant Eliza. Like crazy value for having this for literal free. Just for playing the game, pretty much. Yeah, it's pretty awesome stuff in this update. To be honest,
I like it a lot.
Also, I did just want to give a shout out to the entire community and the people who actually grinded the event. But for the Attack on Titan event, we missed 0 days of full rewards.
Hell yeah.
0 days. That means you guys let me get all these God Spheres. I mean, not all of them, because I missed 6, but 19 free God Spheres. Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
You saved Tweacz a lot of grinding.
Oh my goodness. Just the glory. All of these prisms. Dude, we were able to get all the prisms, the God Spheres, the Mega Clusters, big time value. I appreciate everyone who actually contributed to that because, there was a lot of salt going around and like, oh, this event sucks. People don't want to do it. People are bored of it. Well, we ended up completing every day. And I think that's a big move for the people who actually made an effort to clear it out.
And for all the people who didn't make an effort to clear it out, you got rewarded anyway. So you know what? Good job being a part of the community. You did it. We're all going to make it together, it turns out.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I participated 5 days. It was great.
Nice.
Global
Penny,
didn't fail.
You are useless. But we got
yes. I mean, if I could go back in time and force myself to do it, I would. But I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's obviously you had the option, but no worries.
The event wasn't interesting enough for me to be like, oh yeah, I should go do that every day. It was I completely forgot about it after 5 days.
Yeah.
It was definitely a repetitive, monotonous grind. There's no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I definitely slowed down towards the end, but it was still nice to see it happen. I love proving Salt wrong. That's all.
You mean you
what else we
like
got?
not being toxic, Tweacz? What?
Amazing.
What does that mean?
Amazing.
I don't know if he knows how.
I don't know. I don't have much else in my brain, honestly. Your boy Booda's very tired. I've been going back into the gym, and so, yeah, evenings, I'm even slower than I was, fellas.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that was
Unfortunate.
I know, right?
Booda literally just
Yeah,
like
bro,
someone else.
roasted. Absolutely roasted.
Yeah, but I roasted myself.
Is there anything
so
you
it
had in
doesn't
mind?
count.
Is there any world boss battle you wanted to do? Is there any farming you wanted to do? Because we don't. She's not really that good against the bosses that we have right now, being
Right.
Artigate, and I mean, yeah, she could use ice damage, but we don't need to do that.
I don't need to see slow DPS. I'm good.
No, I'd rather use the Exped and Burt.
So
Exactly.
on that note,
Yeah.
she has 3 element types, right? Which means there's 3 bosses where she would potentially be strong at. Do you think she will actually be good there? Specialized for those?
You mean like Godforge and or
Yeah, more so than other units that we have.
places I would use? Yeah, so here's... let's go through the list. How about we do that? Bring it up. Godforge, maybe ability gates first. Purple gate. Light is effective here, so not really. I think in red she still will be good. I think her DPS is fine. Yeah, sure, fine there. I think blue she'll be fine in for... whatchamacallit, for her S3 damage. Yeah, I think she'll have enough caps and have enough damage there. Green Gate, this is a weird battle, so not really... Physical DPS aren't the greatest here. But yeah, if you want to use her S1 and nuke multiple Pablos at once, then yes, absolutely do that, because you can.
Yeah, that is
as to
interesting.
as to the Godforge, I mean, nothing crazy, right? Like, we're looking at Godforge, Dominion, Kraken, sure, thunder damage. She is pretty beefy. Her S3 is definitely viable. For Falmega, this is definitely a very easy place to just fire off her S1 and stay out of range. Yes, definitely very good here. Astoria, no. Necrosion, definitely not. These are probably two of the more annoying ones, and she doesn't have the correct element to, attack those very well. The Limit Breaker fields, though, she can pretty much do any of these. They don't even need to have to be weak. These are pretty easy battles for endgame players. I don't see her being, I think Visionary is very weak to fire, so her S1 is going to be good there. I believe this one's weak to light, and this one's weak to earth. So these two not so much, but Visionary, yeah, show her S1 should crush. But like we talked about, she's a very niche unit, right? Like you use her in situations where you're going to be able to spam skills and have it be a weak attribute. So yeah, she's not going to be useful everywhere at all, not even close. And forcing her to use like things like Trishula kind of like doesn't really synergize with our kit at all. So yeah, I don't know.
Which I don't know if you talked about, but I'm a huge fan of that. Like, she's one of the first units that incentivizes using machines that aren't Trishula.
Great. It's nice to. It's like almost teaching people like that you can do stuff without Trishula. It's just you have to use.
Like I don't want to call it a crutch, but I mean
it is.
It is.
Like, it's a quality of life. It's not like it's definitely super overpowered for its effectiveness in game.
It was a design decision crutch.
Yeah. I think it generally is before you can get your account situated, before you can get your account fleshed out, being able to drop random resistance whenever you want, or have those skills available to do it effectively. Not that I say it was necessary, but it's definitely very, very useful for a ton of accounts, just to like not have people pissed off at the world and not being able to complete stuff. I don't think it's a bad thing at all.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see more of it in the future.
Yeah. It's extremely refreshing, though, to have units, lately especially, but like, not every unit requires it, and that just feels really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice to see they carried that over to permanent units, and not just, the few limited units we had.
Yeah, reminder, she's a permanent unit, dude. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, she's pretty sick. I'm afraid.
Actually, how many multi-element permanent units do we have? Is she the first one?
Bro, I don't know. I have to go
Good
look.
question.
I'm pretty sure it's one.
I mean, like, for free, we had that, what was it, Trials of Mana guy, but...
Yeah, but he doesn't count.
And I guess...
For various reasons.
Ooh, Duran?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the name.
God, dude, come on.
Duran.
No, I was just talking about, like,
We forgot about him
or
already. I don't know if he
permanent
exists.
multi-element units. We've had, what, 2 now?
Let me bring up the tier list then, because I mean we have them listed, right? Search, permanent or general pool and multi. Not many.
I can't think of one, but I
What,
can't
BB
really
Shin?
think right now. BB Shin.
Oh, BB Shin. Okay, yeah. I don't know if I'd call him multi-element.
Does he count?
I guess...
Like him and Dine aren't really multi-element.
Summoner Lena. Earth.
I guess-
No.
Meredy would be the only other one that I'd actually consider,
Luger,
like...
dark and neutral. Let's go. Phantom of the Robin, dark and neutral. Daura is dark or ice and neutral. Same with Sevilla. But like effective, right? Like effective permanent unit. Yeah, he's the first one. Or she's the first one. Sorry.
We've got Meredy and Meredy on that front.
Meredy and Meredy. A Meredy with an extremely good conversion, and a Meredy with an extremely good specific build conversion. So, like,
She's cool. She's a cool cat. For sure.
She is.
In both of her forms. And I don't mind that like this form of Meredy isn't an insane breaker because it still holds that value to the original.
Yeah.
I think I probably would have been disappointed if they had, directly power crept her one, like, main niche with herself. It just would have felt weird.
And you know what? That's like one of the things I think we were talking about today in chat. Like, that's one of the things that's great about lately in this game is that there's not necessarily a vertical power creep all the time. It's maybe a little bit vertical short, but a lot of side creep.
Yeah.
Like, there's just a lot more options to have for different battles.
Yeah.
And that's perfect. That's how it should be.
That's how it absolutely should be. I agree.
Yeah, I can definitely commend them for that.
Yep.
So, sounds like we're coming to the end.
We're bringing in new and unique mechanics for these collaboration and limited units. And like they come out and it's like, okay, well, this isn't really all that new or that unique. And they're like, all right, here's a permanent unit, and it has some of the most like unique like skill switching and stuff that we've seen so far. Love it. Big fan.
That's what they did. So, all right, I'm gonna take that as that's all we got, fellas.
Mm-hmm. Good place to go.
Good place to wrap up. Close to 11 o'clock, right on the dot. So I appreciate you guys for coming out. Thank you for listening to us talk, mainly Tweacz, and chatting in the chat. Thank you to my co-hosts, as always, for showing up. Glad we had all 4 of the squad here for 2 podcasts in a row. That was pretty dope. And I think that's all we got for you this time, guys. Like, subscribe, bell notifications. Y'all know the drill. And y'all know what we say. Work hard, play harder. See you in the next podcast.